In today's video, we're going to talk about the ongoing crypto market, Bitcoin, my thoughts on the market, where I think we're heading, as well as tell you what I've been telling my Discord. For those who are interested, we're doing a lounge hangout on Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're more than welcome to join. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, tax harvesting, predicting the market, trying to gauge where it's going to go, how to optimize, and how to preserve our income, and also be there for profit taking when it does come. First thing I want to say is I'll tell you what I told them today in the chat on Discord. So I was getting asked, are we entering a bear market or is this going to be a delayed bull market? So one thing I will say, and this is a non-TA answer, I'm giving you guys my honest intuition based answer on what I think is happening and what I think could happen. First of all, with that being said, nobody knows what's going to happen. Again, this is all speculation. This is the first cycle we've had where altcoins have not had a altcoin season. If this was to be the end of the bull run and we enter a bear market in 2026, this will be the first time ever where the sentiment has been absolute garbage heading into a bear market, whereas past cycles, we've had a cycle of euphoria and disbelief that we're going to keep pumping, and then we enter a correction, and then it ends up being the bear market, and everyone loses their money from the roller coaster going up. I notice market makers, manipulators, whales, insiders, they like harping on retail's emotions. They also like making us think one thing and doing another. So if we're going based on that logic, the sentiment is the worst I've ever seen it. I'm even seeing influencers on X who have over 1 million subscribers and followers starting to lose hope, which is telling me that we're in like this ice age, if you will, for crypto, to where people are just all over losing hope. And I've been more active in my Discord than ever in the last couple of days because I'm there for my Discord in the good and the bad, just like I'm here for you in the good and help you navigate this market, whether it's through the good times or through the bad times. So if we enter a bear market in 2026, my goal is to help you preserve your wealth and make more money when the market does rebound. And I say when because I do believe it will. I'll give you more on my thoughts on why I believe that later. So that being said, let's get into this article real quick. I want to just see what they're saying here, and then we'll get more into what I think is going to be happening. So we see right here, Bitcoin slips below 95K, 10x research maps the reset while ETF outflows bites. Okay. So yeah, when I woke up today, I saw we touched base at 94K. I'm pretty sure we're there now. The drawdown followed a week of weaker closes after November, near 110,000 from reinforcing a shift from momentum to repair. The sentiment gauge sits in fear territory. Yes. Macro cues have leaned hawkish, and fund data shows stress concentrated in Bitcoin vehicles. Nearly 1 billion of net outflows were seen from Bitcoin-focused products in the week through November 3rd, even as other coins saw offsetting interest, which helps explain why the heaviest pressure sat on Bitcoin spot pairs. Pricing across majors reflected that tilt, while Bitcoin leading declines and Ethereum lagging shortly after. Okay, so yeah, pretty much what I would expect in the article with this kind of title. So now let's get to the metrics. Let's see what is actually going on out there in the market. So we can see we're falling to near this 3 trillion market cap. We're in fear. I don't even want to even mention the whole coin season index. We're in oversold territory. Let's get a closer look now at Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. So right now we're at 94.7K. I told my Discord straight up, for me, if I see Bitcoin fall below 90K and hold there for any period of time, that is a confirmed bear market for me. That, or we see 2 to 3 weekly closes below the 50-week moving average for Bitcoin. We have 0 so far. 1's a warning. 2 is like an 80% chance of bear market. 3 is 100% confirmed from past data. I know things can change, but from past data, it's a confirmed bear market. As for me, I am not going to roll the dice and say things are different. If we get 2 to 3 closes on the 50-week moving average for Bitcoin, I am definitely going to be preparing for a bear market. Or if I see, again, a Bitcoin go to below 90K and hold there for like a couple days. That to me would be a signal that we're entering lower price action. That being said, though, there is hope that, right now it's Thursday. We could see some type of huge news and catalyst come out with Trump and the whales, and they can magically push us above the 50-week moving average, which right now seems like a long shot, but we've seen it time and time again when we zoom out that Bitcoin can do this and has done this, go up thousands of dollars in a matter of a few hours. It's crazy, but it does happen. But right now, the sentiment is just garbage. So I don't think, unless it's something crazy bullish with Trump, that we're going to see over 100K Bitcoin by the end of this week, which means we're likely to enter one close below the 50-week moving average. That being said, if I do think we're entering a bear market, I'm just going to say it again from my last video. I am going to tax harvest some of my crypto. Reason being, if we enter a bear market to end this year heading to Q1, at that point, the macro cycle becomes a little bit, actually much more important than this 4-year cycle. Right now, there's an ongoing debate if the 4-year cycle was alive or dead. And depending if you're following Bitcoin or altcoins, you might have a different opinion. Bitcoin has followed the 4-year cycle to a T and still has. It topped in October, which is roughly the same time frame past cycles, and it's dipping as expected from past cycles. Altcoins, though, haven't. So, and we also decouped from the S&P 500, which hit all-time highs recently. So things are a little different. We also decouped from the M2 money supply, which in the summer we're again highly correlated to. So the thing is this: if I think we're in a bear market, I am going to tax harvest. What that does is, for crypto at least, and this is, you can confirm this with your financial advisor or accountant. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion and my strategy of what I'm going to do. Again, I am here for you for the good and the bad. I am going to sell my crypto and then immediately get back in. I'm not sure if I'm going to get into all my positions back again. We'll see. But the rule for tax harvesting crypto is you sell your crypto, you buy back in immediately, you realize the loss, which now offsets your capital gains in the future and increases your tax liability for this year, which means if you were in a positive profit for whatever reason, the losses you tax harvest will offset that gain, which means you owe less money for taxes for this cycle, for this year. So I am going to immediately sell, immediately buy back. And the gamble is, this is where I get a question of, well, John, won't that turn us from long-term capital gains tax bracket and move us into short-term? Yes. And the gamble is thinking that the cycle is not going to rally until 1 year later, which the way things are looking in 2026, it's a midterm election year. Jerome Powell gets replaced in May, and quantitative easing will probably happen around May. And once quantitative easing takes place, it's going to take at least a few months until we see upwards price action, which is closer to that 1 year target from selling from today. Also, with the stimulus checks likely to come out in 2026, it reminds me of the 2020 pandemic cycle. What happened then? The stimulus checks came out in late 2020 that year, and what happened? We saw the ribs happen a year later in 2021. Now, I'm not saying we're in the repeat cycle. I'm just saying it's likely we're going to enter that scenario if things play out the way they are looking like they might play out. We just are about to end QT in December. The money printing QE phase is in the works, and the stimulus checks are going to stimulate the economy in some way, which will push us to QE. Plus, if dovish chairman to replace Jerome Powell, that means more interest rate cuts. So it just means over time, more price action to the upside for risk on assets. So I'm willing to bet, for me, it's worth the gamble to lose my long-term capital gains tax bracket temporarily. Not to mention, if your deficit is large with the loss that you're realizing, it might not make a big difference anyway when it comes to, say, profits. Let's just say you're in a net loss of $1 million, and then the cycle happens, I don't know, in 6 months, and you make 1.5 mil. It doesn't really matter if you're in long-term or short-term capital gains tax, in my opinion, at that point in time, because that huge 1 million liability hit helped you greatly in reducing your taxes overall for that particular year. So that's just my thoughts on the matter. Again, I am just a YouTuber. I am not a tax accountant or advisor, so you can do what you want. I'm just telling you from my point of view what I plan to do and the reasons for why I plan to do it. Again, this is why I stress the importance of Discord, because we talk about topics like this all the time. Okay, we're there for the good and the bad. If you're on an island right now doing this by yourself, it is incredibly stressful. I can't even fathom what that feels like. Again, it's a real crazy market. I totally get it. And this is not for the weak. But I really do believe things will turn around. Again, it's not just my optimistic answer, it's my real objective answer. I do feel in my gut things will turn around. I just don't see the whales and market makers, while knowing the sentiment is so crappy right now, and they know this, I just don't see them keeping the market down for this long. So, another prediction that I think will happen if we do enter a bear market, I don't think it's going to be as aggressive and as long as past bear markets. Maybe Bitcoin hits 70K. Maybe it does go all the way down to 50K. That'd be probably worst case scenario. And yes, altcoins by comparison will get obliterated to that. But I don't think it'll be as long. Again, we never had the euphoria stage. We're already, about to end QT, which is good from a monetary policy standpoint. And the way things are looking in midterm elections, Trump's going to want to improve his approval rating. A lot of things could happen, guys. So again, you can call me delusional, say what you want, but I do feel things are going to turn around. So now the question you may have after hearing this is, well, what's the logical answer? Do we write our bags down in DCA, or do we sell and try to time it? I know I said in my last video, I plan to try to sell some of my plays and preserve my wealth. And I will do that when it comes to tax harvesting. I'll probably put some of that money into gold. Reason being, when we enter potential bear markets, gold does hedge against crypto and stocks. The dollar is getting weaker, which means gold becomes more lucrative and to hedge against the dollar for years. So you are going to see gold most likely increase. It's probably not a bad play to put some of your money into for the time being. So I'm probably going to redistribute some of my money into gold. That being said, the plays that I have high conviction in, I'm probably going to just ride down, buy the dips in DCA. You have to think about what's best for you. If you truly believe the market's going to recover, and let's just say you're holding, I don't know, Arrow, right? We just did a swing trade Arrow recently. Right now, it's currently 85 cents. Say Arrow hits, I don't know, 20 cents, 30 cents in this bear market if it happens, and you DCA, and you slash your average down. Guess what? Now you don't have to wait for the absolute top and the bull market does come back to sell. You can probably get out when the recovery happens. It's not like we're going to just sit here with their bags at all-time highs and wait for 4 more years. If you play this right and we do enter a bear market, profits are not that far away. Let's talk about potential Tau, right? Say Tau hits, I don't know, $50 in a bear market, and we bring our average down from like the 200s down to like $80. And let's just say Tau pumps to 500 during recovery, even though the all-time high was roughly 800. Having the ability to take profits, a lot of profits at 500 versus the majority of retail who's going to wait until the absolute top to sell is a much better and faster experience, right? So again, there's pros and cons to doing either approach. I'm not saying you're wrong if you do sell your portfolio or you put it into Bitcoin to hedge yourself against the altcoin dips. There's more than one ways to skin a cat, okay? All I'm saying is explore all your options, okay? Holding in stable coins is fine. Holding in gold is fine. Riding your bags, depending on if you believe in them, is fine. If you don't, tax harvest. And if you do, still tax harvest. Not financial advice. I'm just saying, I think right now, because think about it from this point of view too, right? Say we tax harvest and this ends up being a local bottom to a rising top in Q1 or Q2. Now we can keep more of our profits. Yes, we move into short-term capital gains tax, but we just made a huge hit to our tax liability. I just see it as a win-win. I gave my reasons why I think this cycle is different. We've never had sentiment this crappy for this duration of time extend into a preliminary bear market. It usually happens after the bear market takes place, not before. And the whales know this, the insiders know this, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a less aggressive bear market if it does happen. Uh, Not as steep, not as long, and also if we have just a huge bounce and we end up resuming the bull run. A lot can happen. Either way, prepare for either scenario. Okay. If this ends up being a local bottom for a top, what I plan to do for the rest of this year, and I told my Discord too, I'm just not going to DCA anymore. Okay. The reason why I'm not DCAing until January, unless I see a huge opportunity, is for two things. One, we could go much lower. We could. Or two, I mean, I've been DCAing for years. No need to put my money into the market now. And three, I'm cashing up. Because if we do enter a bigger, steeper bear market and we see prices get slashed from these prices today, I want to have more money available to buy. So I am saving my money now. That's what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay. I think we covered most bases here. If I look back and realize I missed some pieces of information that's crucial, I will make a part 2 to this. I am going to be here for you throughout the whole process of this. Okay. I am not going anywhere. I'm not going to disappear from YouTube. I'm not going to take a long break. I started my channel in the last bear market. I know what the feeling is like. You get, especially as a YouTuber, low views, low interest, a lot of hate. I expect this bear market, if it does happen, to be the same. It's going to be low viewership, low everything. I get it, but I'm not going anywhere. Okay. I assure you that I will be here to help you navigate this. We will do this as a team, one day at a time. With that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, if you learned something, please leave a like, and I'll see you next time.